thought today we'd have a look at how to prune Mediterranean plants. And there's a lot of plants like Ballota, Pseudodictamnus, we've got Helichrysum, Italicum, Santolina, not to mention lavenders and plants like that. And what happens is they go through our winters in the UK and they flower and in the summer, but after they flowered in the summer they use up all their energy in producing seed and they look a bit tatty and you know, really struggling. So what we want to do is to cut these back so we can, you know, promote some good nice foliage. So it's all about, with Mediterranean plants, cutting them back to get some really nice foliage. And what you want is it to produce lovely, this lovely lime green foliage, or in some Ballotas, silver foliage. And there's other plants like the Santolina, Helichrysum and Helichrysum, Italicum, and they do the same kind of thing, and we'll have a look at those. We'll have a look at Melissa, the lemon balm as well. So there are a couple of ways of how you could prune this. You could, for example, flower spikes, cut them off and trim them. So trim all the flower spikes down. That would be one way. And what you do then, of course, is, as you can see already, you're beginning to see a lot nicer coloured foliage. So just trim them just above a bud. If you can find a bud, that'll be good. But they're pretty resilient. You have to wait until about March time really for this, because you do them too early, of course, and the lower bit's going to get frosted. So you could just nip them back quite simply like this. Remove all these little spindly bits as well. Anything spindly, generally in pruning, you want to take it off. I'm just going to pop them to one side. Take that off, and you can see we're beginning to get somewhere. And we'll just take this off here, and we're getting back to some nice kind of foliage. But another way that you can prune is to look at the plant really closely and see, is there any buds coming from low down. Now you can see here any buds or shoots. There's some nice shoots coming here, and so the secret is to find those shoots, see where those shoots are coming through, and if you want to, you can prune them back a little bit harder and kind of rejuvenate it. So there's a different method of pruning where you cut back that little bit harder, and what will happen is that will send out some really strong shoots. So on this, on Santolina, you can cut back quite hard on Phlomis fruticosa, and you can get some really nice foliage to follow that. So we'll take that off, just nip that back so it's a similar height, get rid of all the dead leaves, and we're nearly there with this one, nearly cleaned it up. And that will shoot back a little bit of food, it'll shoot back, and that will start to look really good. So just take those last few little bits off. There we go. I'm going to shake it out and we'll have a look at it. So I've just shook out the leaves, pull off the last few weeds, and there we go. We've got a healthier looking Ballota. Let's have a look at one or two more Mediterranean plants and how we can prune them. One of the problems with cotton lavender, this is Santolina, Helichrysum, is it gets straggly and it gets completely sort of just flattened really by the winter, and what you have to do with this one is to cut it back to these little pieces here. So you've got some little shoots just coming from the base here, so right down at the bottom, and what we've got to do is to actually cut the whole thing right back hard once we've identified those little shoots. And then the plant will rejuvenate and you'll get a nice silver plant. So on plants like Melissa officinalis, this is the lemon balm, and it's got a beautiful citronal sort of smell, and you can see that the leaves are regenerating from the base of the plant, So because the leaves are regenerating from the base of the plant, you're safe to cut it back. So we can cut it right back to these nice new shoots. And you can see there that the new plant is coming through, so the whole of the plant will be cut back, and then you'll get a nice lot of growth. Keeps the plant healthy, and it stops the plant putting all its energy into producing fruit and seed. So you're redirecting it all into that nice, what we call the vegetative green growth. Right. So on this plant, this is Helichrysum italicum. This is the curry plant. It gives you that nice sort of curry sort of scent to when you rub it. And so what you've got to do on this one, because it's actually flowered and set seed, you've got to cut it back to preserve this nice grey foliage. So what you do with this one is you'd cut it back, cut back all these kind of shoots. You'd cut back them, and then you would get back to this nice silver growth, which is really what this plant is grown for. So you cut back, and you can see that nice silver growth you've got there, and that's what you want to see, a really strong silver growth. And all these flower heads and seed have gone, and the plant can regenerate. Hopefully you've got something today from pruning Mediterranean plants, and you've always got to look to see, is there any shoots coming from the base? It's the same on other plants like Perovskea, Hypericum, and if there are, you know you're safe to chop back, but give it sort of now, you know, late into March, even into April, to make sure that it's not too early and they get frosted. So give that a go and tidy up.